So let's start with possibly the weirdest story so far this season. Gattuso has been sacked as manager of Palermo after only 6 games by Zamparini. What do you think of that, Bill?
Well, I mean, it's always going to happen after a couple of pretty poor results. But when your chairman is named the manager eater, as it's called, translate that into English, you know, it's not going to last very long.
And what do we think of that then, Simon? Because he was only given 6 games, and he's a young manager, and it was a young team just relegated from Serie A. They kept the core of their players. So what do we make of this?
I've always known Palermo as a Serie A team, but most of their history has been in Serie B, and obviously you aspire to be better than that. But you know, if the results aren't going your way, you've got to expect stuff like this to happen. Having a chairman like that's going to have a negative effect on any team, and I think they had 3 coaches last year alone, so it's obviously not a good model, and I'm surprised nothing's kind of changed in that respect. Regarding Gattuso, though, the results aren't good enough. Maybe he should have been given more time considering his age. But at his last club, it was FCC I think. He only had 11 games before he was sacked there. So he's obviously maybe not cut out to be a manager. Maybe it's a bit too early to say that, but it's obviously just not worked out for him so far.
You mentioned there that last season they went through a few managers. The first manager was actually sacked after only 3 games in Serie A. So I suppose you can say that his reputation is deserved. Yeah, he got double the time, so it's fair play. But yeah, as you say, they were a Serie B team, and obviously Mr. Zamparini took them over in 2002 and then built them up. But he sacked over 20 coaches in 11 years, and that's unprecedented. How can this happen at a professional football club?
Yeah, well, it's unsustainable model. I mean, a few years ago, I remember as a West Ham fan, we played Palermo in the UEFA Cup, as it was called, one of the qualifiers. And you know, just watching them play was like, well, this is a great team. And in the years since, they've just gone downhill, you know, constantly. And so the model they've got is not working. You know, second managers at Chelsea seems to work, but then again, they've got top players and top managers, so it's not great, but it seems to work, doesn't it? But you know, it's too much for Palermo, a club like them.
There was actually comments that surfaced on the 19th from Mr. Zamparini, apparently from Mr. Zamparini, saying he was very worried about the team. It looked like a team of individuals and they were not creating enough chances. He then denied this statement, and then a week later, Gattuso sacked. It's a young team now, so it's a question of them gelling, and they need a manager with experience, probably, as you say. Bill said about Gattuso, and I think it was you, Simon, that said maybe he wasn't cut out for it. Maybe it's just a too young team, and they need an older, experienced head to come in and mould them together and believe they can actually get promoted again.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. It's a work in progress. You need to find out what works for Palermo, and obviously they need a big change. For me, I would definitely look at the chairman. I don't know who's in charge to change that certain position, but something's got to change at the club, and I think that's where I'd start.